everybody. Thanks for joining me here in the studio. I am, the last couple of videos I talked about some SHTF stuff, like getting GMRS going. And I think that's a good way to go. I don't really recommend the, ham radio. They're talking about, I hear a lot of places, videos and channels and blogs and all kinds of stuff are talking about ham radio. And I agree that ham radio is the best for ultimate SHTF comms because it gives you the most capability. But for the average person, I'm trying to do videos for the new person, like a brand new person that doesn't really know much. You can't really suggest ham radio to that person. Last video I talked about GMRS, then what to do. I talked about kind of going out and getting some practice, getting everybody set up with radios, practicing, getting to know your equipment, that kind of stuff. And I put that one first in the list because it actually does give you, well, there's so many more things you can do with GMRS than just SHTF. You can have fun with it and have a good time. Use it for all kinds of different things. But it actually gives you a way to communicate, to transmit and receive when cell phones are down or power's out or something, and you're out of cell service, out hiking somewhere, and it doesn't have to be the most extreme situation where that really comes into play. Just everyday use, out goofing off, camping or whatever, those kind of things. But that's a GMRS repeater right there. That's about probably 10 miles from me, maybe 12 miles or so, but it comes in really good, and I can hit it with just the HT from right here in the shack in the studio. But GMRS is good. It's a good thing. I recommend it because it gives you an actual ability to transmit and receive. So, but there's a lot of fear out there. I'm hearing people talk about like politics. I don't really get into that a whole lot. I mean, I could really easily. It's actually kind of difficult for me not to go down some of these rabbit holes, these tangents, when you're talking about some of this stuff. But I hear people be, expressing uncertainty, and, they're upset about a lot of things. They're not sure where things are going to go. And just my opinion, the government it's not going to have your back. This is the last thing you want to count on is the government coming to help you. They're largely the problem. But, yeah, talking to my mom, some friends, just people in general, something always comes up with politics or current events, crazy stuff happening like that. It's food shortages, expensive fuel, where their next, tank of gas is going to come from, that kind of stuff. But they're concerned. Anyhow, I got this. I was thinking about this. I was talking to my mom earlier, and I shared this verse with her. It's 2 Timothy 1:7, and just says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and a sound mind." So, to me, without getting too preachy, we don't have to be afraid. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power. And you always got to remember, if you're a person of faith, he's in control anyhow. So trust in the Lord, right? But you can have encouraging words to your friends and family in times of uncertainty. We're not the first generation has gone through some crap. In fact, I would maintain that we got it pretty good, even in turmoil that we feel like we're in right now, in the big picture. So, and especially throughout history. So, but yeah, we need to stand up for those things and fight for that, for the freedoms and liberties and all those things that put us in a good position here in the United States, at least. So around the world, there's all kinds of stuff going on. China, there's persecution. Churches are persecuted. It doesn't matter what faith you are. They're persecuting everybody over there. But, yeah, I mean, gee whiz, there's so much you could talk about, you guys. But my focus is you got to kind of start somewhere. You got to reel it in a little bit, because you can't. That's why I say trust in the Lord. A lot of stuff is out of your control, but what's in your control is those little things that you can do, like setting up your own self, your own family with some comms, putting some food away, saving some money for a rainy day kind of thing, that kind of stuff. It's not extremism, it's common sense to me and the right thing to do. But if you don't have any experience in technology or communications, GMRS, ham radio, or whatever, then you're kind of at a loss. You don't know where to start. So I'm trying to keep it simple. So I got to reel it way back in. But today, secondly, after GMRS, my opinion is to get GMRS set up with you and your family. Start practicing that. Next is go for scanners. And scanners is a big subject, but it doesn't have to be complicated, but it kind of is. But there's so much out there. And what I think about is intelligence, gathering in intelligence, signal intelligence. And you can listen all you want and gather information. It's nice to know what's going on out there. And plus, when you're listening, you don't give away your location either. But so I have, let me get these things real quick here. So I have like this little thing here. This is just a Radio Shack 200 channel. I don't even remember what model this is. I've got like 3 or 4 of these things. And this just has extendable antenna on it. But this is just a UHF VHF scanner, handheld scanner. It works off of batteries. But believe it or not, there is a ton of stuff out there that you can still hear. The modern day systems, like police systems, in the cities, at least the bigger cities, have gone to trunking, digital trunking, and some of it's encoded too. It's encrypted. I mean, not encoded, but encrypted. So you can't even hear anyhow. So, but like where I live, part of it, some of it is in town, it's encrypted and it's digital trunking for the main police systems. But the surrounding counties and surrounding areas are still analog, and there's a lot of analog signals out there. And analog is just basically you're able to receive those radio waves from a radio to your scanner. There's no special circuitry that you have to decode digital signals for with. But like ambulance, fire, still some police. There's amateur radio, 2 meter, 440, 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and there's lots of EMS emergency signals out there, like fire. I was trying to remember this earlier, but the other day I was listening. It was on the weekend. It was probably 2 weeks ago, and the road department where I live was I have that channel programmed in this my other base scanner in the other room, but the road department, there was starting to get some activity, and I turned it up and started listening, and 2 hours away from me on the main highway going out of town, it's probably an hour out of the bigger area of the town that I live, but about 2 hours from me, which is quite a ways. I heard the road department through the repeater systems that they were using talking about a 5-car accident that actually closed the main interstate highway because of all the cars crashed and blocking. So they actually had to close down one entire direction of traffic for quite some time. And I'm trying to think how long it was, but I was hearing them late into the night on that Saturday. So, which is pretty cool. If I was going that way, just for example, I would have known to expect that and maybe change my plans or found out more information on the news channel or something like that. You can listen to all kinds of stuff. Aircraft, if you're into that. I like listening to aircraft. I was going through this book again. Like I said, this book is quite old, into the 90s, but I don't know how much. I'm not like a big scanner aficionado, like expert, but I have several scanners, and I got a couple more to show you. But this book talks about some stuff that just a few examples that are things that are out there. It says alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, ATF. I don't know if they're like I said, some of these might be trunking signals, but I don't know. You can look up these things. Amateur radio, ambulance, aircraft, border patrol, business bands. This actually is kind of interesting too. I always carry a scanner of some sort with me, and in my HT, so I have this thing too that I put the scanner groups in, and I have all the GMRS in here. I have all the the local fire, EMS, and I've got some other frequencies in here too. But when I'm going through road construction areas, I can actually hear a lot of those places. The flaggers will be on GMRS, and I can hear coming up to an area what's going on when they're releasing traffic to go, and so that's kind of cool too, to have that capability in the car. But yeah, FBI, FEMA, fire departments, GMRS, police, military aircraft, naval aircraft, strategic air command, nuclear regulatory commission, NOAA weather. That's a biggie that I use all the time. A scanner you can put in all the NOAA frequencies. Railroads, I have quite a bit of railroad activity in my area. It doesn't really mean a whole lot sometimes, but you can gather information, what's going on. Secret Service, U.S. Customs, Maritime Mobile, bunch of things. And, there's literally hundreds of frequencies. There's a website called Radio Reference. You can probably Google scanner frequencies in your area. I looked up Radio Reference, and then I did another Google search, web search of scanner frequencies in my area, and it actually gave me quite a bit more than the radio reference one did. So that's one thing that I think a new person can do. If you don't have money to go buy a bunch of scanner equipment, don't worry about it. Start where you can. In fact, here, I'm going to grab this other one real quick, and I got another two to show you. So this one here, this thing is ancient. This is a 20 channel Radio Shack, and it is a model Pro 50. I got this probably 10 years ago for like $10 at a ham swap fest. It was just sitting there just all by itself, and I went and grabbed it and made sure it worked and picked it up. But this only has 20 channels. 20 channels of information is better than 0 channels. $10, you can find stuff like this, these older, cheaper ones, and it just you just use a AA batteries. Some take 4, some take 6, just depends on what you get. But I've had that old thing for 10 years, still works. I don't think there's any batteries. No, I took the batteries out, but I've had that a long time. And this one is a 200 channel. It's a Radio Shack Pro 75. Let's see here. It's going to focus. There we go. Pro 75, 200 channel. This thing I used for 15 plus years every single day. And these things have a BNC connector, on off squelch, volume, you know. You can use a regular rubber duck antenna, or you can use external antenna. And that's a lot of times what I did is while I was driving around, I just put a BNC connector on a mag mount on the roof of my van, and that worked great. I could hear things for miles and miles and miles. And then I got this other one too. This one's a little bit better, but this is still a 200 channel. And all of them have different functions, different kinds of, you know, options to go with them. And the newer ones that are a little bit more expensive, they have the digital trunking, so you can listen to some of the police in your area. But yeah, they changed that quite a while ago in our area, but some of it you can. But there's a lot still, like I said, that are not encrypted. So this one's a base unit. This is kind of cool. I got this thing on eBay for $30. $30, and it says, what is this? 200 channels, yeah. And this thing works excellent, and you can put a external antenna on there. See if that comes in. Try and focus. Come on. There we go. Has a speaker and a BNC connector for an external antenna. And I've got another one over here that I think I paid $25 on eBay. eBay is a good place to search for that stuff. Just make sure it works, and don't pay too much for the older used stuff. But say you got GMRS, one of these, you can plug in the frequencies, every single GMRS thing, and it'll scan it just instantly in one bank, instead of using your GMRS thing radio as a scanner. And let me show you how example of that. Okay, let's get this. That's not very fast. Not a very fast scan. So a scanner is designed to burn through the channels, and some of these 200 channels, like for that HT, the GMRS HT, takes, 5 or 6 seconds or 10 seconds to scan through 30 channels. You can scan through 100 channels in 10 seconds on one of these scanners. But yeah, it's you can find them on eBay. There's new ones out there, $80 ish, $100 or less. You can find a good scanner like this, and I'll put some links in the description below. But like this one, I don't remember. This was probably $100, and I think back when I picked this up, it actually had a mag mount antenna with it that I used. But yeah, you can put all of the GMRS in there. You can put all of the amateur radio 2-meter stuff and the 440 stuff, 220 stuff. A lot of times, those are just frequency ranges that I'm talking about. The different bands in amateur radio, and that's a really good start. And then you could start collecting frequencies, radio reference, do a web search in your area, those kind of things. But that's what I would recommend. And like I said, there's so much to this, you guys. You got to just keep it simple for the beginner, and that's what I would do. And these are super easy to program. There's tutorials, and I mean, I could even do some programming stuff like that, but it's so easy, you really don't need it. Or you can do a YouTube search on it. But yeah, just get some signal intelligence. Remember that, signal gathering intelligence through signals, radio signals, and find out what it's not like you're stalking people. You're just getting a routine of traffic in your area. That's all around you. There's stuff going on all around you all the time. And the scanner will help you kind of tune into some of that. That's just a start. It's just like really the basics. I didn't even go into much there, but there's just so much to it. I wouldn't worry about trunking scanners right now. I would just see if you can find a cheap analog scanner on eBay and start there, unless you want to buy a brand new one. It's worth it. I think there's so much information, and there's still a lot of activity out there on analog scanners. There's even magazines still. You can get, there's groups, there's Facebook groups, all kinds of stuff to learn about scanners. So step 1 would be GMRS. Step 2 would be getting a hold of a scanner and start plugging in your GMRS, then amateur radio, and then so on and so forth. So anyhow, I hope that helped you guys a little bit if you're brand new at all of this stuff. But yeah, scanners is fun, and you hear a lot of funny stuff on there, a lot of interesting stuff. Like I was listening, this is kind of a goofy story, but then I'll end the video. But the other day I was listening, and I was on the phone, and then I hear the dispatch. I was just talking to somebody on the phone, and I hear dispatching to one of the officers that a lady called in, and she ended up giving a description of a hippie van. And the whole thing was just kind of comical, but they gave a description of a hippie van, and then so that was a dispatcher dispatching out. Then there was just a moment of silence, and then the officer comes back, copy that, looking for a hippie van. So yeah, anyhow, there's a lot out there, but yeah, thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll do more of this stuff. There's so much out there to share. And we'll do a little bit more in depth, and maybe I can even go into a search, like a tutorial on where to find scanner frequencies, and go into a little bit more of that. But yeah, start collecting frequencies and see where that takes you. Alrighty, have fun doing it, and we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching, you guys. Catch you later.